Dude, you're telling me this book has knowledge that still amazes scientists today? That's Joe Rogan, mind blown, pulling the mic closer, because what he just heard challenges everything. Today, you're going to hear what the Qur'an revealed over 1,400 years ago, and how it still connects with discoveries today. But here's the key. We'll separate the text itself from modern interpretations. Let's dive in. Picture Joe Rogan's studio. Jamie's pulling up sources. Guest. The Qur'an says, "Indeed it is we who sent down the message, and indeed we will be its guardian." 15:9. Joe. In the 7th century, when people were writing on animal skins. Guest. Yes. During Muhammad's lifetime, thousands memorized it. It was compiled soon after. Today, manuscripts from the very 1st century of Islam, Birmingham, Sana'a, match what Muslims recite today. Joe. So, no changes. Guest. There are authorized modes of recitation called qira'at, slight variations in pronunciation and sometimes meaning, but all trace back to the Prophet. The core text is remarkably stable. Joe. That's like a human blockchain. Guest. Exactly. Millions still memorize all 604 pages word for word. Joe. What about Pharaoh? Guest. The Qur'an says, "So today we will save you in body that you may be to those who succeed you a sign." 10:92. It doesn't specify which pharaoh or claim the body was lost, only that it would remain as a sign. In 1881, royal mummies were uncovered. Ramesses II, Meneptah. Some think one might be the pharaoh of Exodus, though it's debated. Joe. But the preservation happened? Guest. Yes. Pharaohs were preserved, and now millions see them as reminders of human arrogance and downfall. Guest. Around 615 CE, the Byzantines were crushed by the Persians. Everyone thought they were finished. Then the Qur'an revealed, the Romans have been defeated, but they will overcome within 3 to 9 years. 32:4. Joe. 3 to 9 years. Guest. That's the meaning of the Arabic phrase bida sinin, and history shows. Heraclius began his comeback in 622, and by 627 he won major victories. Right in that window. Joe. So they called the comeback when it looked impossible. Guest. Exactly. Guest. The Qur'an says, "And the heaven we constructed with strength, and indeed we are its expander." 51:47. Classical scholars read this as, "We made it vast, we are able." Modern readers see it as, "We are expanding it." Both are linguistically possible. Joe. So it works in both contexts, ancient and modern. Guest. Yes, which is why Muslims today find it fascinating. Guest. The Qur'an says, yes, we are able to put together in perfect order his fingertips. 75:3-4. Joe. Why fingertips? Guest. Classical meaning God can recreate humans down to the smallest detail. Modern readers notice, fingertips are unique identifiers, fingerprints, not an explicit prediction, but interesting in hindsight. Joe. That's still wild. Scene 6. The forelock brain connection. Guest. The Qur'an describes a tyrant. We will drag him by the forelock, a lying, sinning forelock. 96:15-16. Traditionally, this was a metaphor for humiliation. Modern readers sometimes connect it to the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain linked with decision-making and lying. Joe. So classical meaning showed metaphor, modern Muslims, science connection. Guest. Exactly. Both views exist. Guest. The Qur'an describes human behavior, and they rejected them while their souls were convinced thereof out of injustice and arrogance. 27:14. Joe. So, rejecting truth, even when deep down you know it's true. Guest. Yes. What psychologists now call cognitive dissonance. Joe. That's timeless. Joe. So let me get this straight. The Qur'an shows a preservation system that worked, a prediction about Rome that came true, language about the universe that resonates today, precision about human details like fingertips, descriptions of psychology that remain accurate. Guest. Yes, Muslims see these as signs, reminders to reflect, not always scientific miracles, but meaningful connections across time. Joe, I respect that, not overselling it, just letting the text speak. Guest, exactly. Joe, you know what? I actually want to read it myself, not to convert, but to see what's really there, not just what people say. And that's the point. The Quran's verses invite reflection. So what about you? Which of these surprised you most? And are you, like Joe, suddenly curious about what else might be inside? Sometimes the biggest discoveries come when we question what we thought we knew, and sometimes the future was already written.